Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Shibui Anime Tavern, brought to you by the good people at Nova Circuit. I'm Jeff, also known as Mayogetsu, and today I'm joined by the big boss baddie himself. Give the people an introduction, sir.
That's me. Hey guys, I'm Jason. You guys see me on the streams a lot and in other content videos like our Nova Circuit TCG team or even Let's Plays. I'm here to discuss an awesome anime with Jeff that is actually Jeff's idea. He was like, hey man, let's watch this together. I watched it and that's when I knew I made the right choice to bring Jeff in here for some anime content for sure. But yeah, so you guys see me around. So,
well, I appreciate that. And yeah, this is one that I've heard about personally, but I don't see a whole lot of people talk about it. So we watched 86. So we start in the Republic of San Magnolia, and they've been at war with the Empire, we're going to say, for a while. And the Empire created autonomous robots called the Legion, which eventually took them over. And now the Republic is in constant battle with these, autonomous legions. And they have these pilots called 86s, which are kind of like a really discriminated against group of people.
I believe the word they use is pigs, and there's a lot of pigs slang thrown around.
Yeah, there's a lot of pig slang thrown around, and
everybody's a pig.
Yeah, a little maybe Nazi propaganda happening too.
Yeah, but I felt that way too at times with with how the Republic.
The Alba.
Yeah, the Alba. There you go. Yes, had to be certain hair, certain looks. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I mean, they all have like white hair and blue eyes, so it's like, well, it's a little bit. So the 86 are in constant battles trying to fight off these legions so they don't invade the Republic and take over the rest of the world, and that's kind of where the story begins, and we meet a girl by the name of Lena Melise.
Yeah, I'm not going to pronounce her last name. I just know it's Lena. So
all right, we'll go with Melise, and she kind of takes over as a handler. The handler is kind of the one that is in charge of a group of 86. And gives them instructions, give them missions, what they need to do, that sort of thing. And so she's given the task of taking over like the number one squad, and nobody wants to do this job. Other people that have done it have died or freaked out or just couldn't do it. They couldn't handle it, mostly because of this guy called Reaper, also code name Undertaker, which we officially meet later on by the name of Shin and his whole squad of 86. Yeah,
I mean, you pretty much explained the main compass of it is these group of people that are sent out there to fight. They're pretty much soldiers. That's what they do. They ride these mech machines out there and go to war against the Legion. And you do meet Shin, and she does find out that this is one of the more difficult groups to work with, but they're one of the best groups. They're the go-to guys.
By far the best group.
And the reason is because they've been in there. They're supposed to serve 5 years of service. After that, they're free. And these people have all served. You notice later on that they're all level 3-4 years in. Most of them 4 years in, so they got the most experience out there on the battlefield. And you start finding out reasons why Lena in the end finds she realizes how these people are difficult to work with. And when they tell her the secret in the end, when they bond and over time learn to trust each other, she finds out why, and just in the end the whole heartbreaking tale of what this spearhead squadron is for, why people are sent to this squadron. They're not just put in there, people get promoted to this, and this is the group. This means you're close to your end of service. When she finds out that secret, that's when it hit her the hardest, and it really shows how her character was able to be you know what, I'm not gonna be like the other guys. I care, so I'm gonna stick here. And that was the best thing is out of all the people in her position, she was the one that truly cared about the people in the battlefield. Everybody else was oh, they're just, we're not losing. It's not casualties. Blah blah blah.
She did, and that's another important point I guess we should bring up, is that the people of the Republic are under the impression that there's not people piloting their juggernauts.
Right.
they think that, there's nobody in them also. And, they come to find out that that's not the case, and they still don't really care too much.
Right.
But
The other team, though, they are technically AI, but technically with human parts as well. It's just really it's really unique how they like put that in. Like they basically what the Legion does is they take like the people that they kill on the battlefield from the Republic. They take their brains and they basically use their brains to basically run the Legion's machines and all that stuff. And that's also fills into Shin's arc, Undertaker's arc in this as well. And the really cool thing I actually really enjoyed about this this anime, and I was like I said earlier, I was skeptical about jumping into it because like I haven't really been into like the mech kind of like animes. Like the only two I was really like into was like Gundam or Zoids. So like nothing ever really hit the same since I watched those. But I saw this and I was like, but I gotta give it a chance. I usually watch a couple episodes, and now, dude, the way they get you like, what's the word I'm looking for? The way they get you to get emotionally attached to these characters,
dude.
It's crazy. Like every death in this anime meant something, and you felt it because you got to know these characters and you got to know like their personalities, and they did a good job at like making you feel for them. And every death that happened, like especially because it was unexpected, like I started expecting it when the episode was mainly about that person, and then when you saw them go, you're like, man, that it hurts.
Right, they're getting too much screen time, they're about to die for sure.
I've never had this much emotional attachment in an anime since at the time was my favorite anime, Sword Art Online. Like when I was getting attached to these characters that were dying in the game, and I was like, oh my god. Like, but in this one, like, God, like it just felt different. Like you felt like they were real people. That's how good it was. It got you immersed, and it was just, oh man. And I've already said it. Like this is probably my favorite anime too. It really characters, story driven. It's deep. Like it's real deep, and the best part is the pacing of it is so good.
Pacing is very good.
Oh,
like, there was never a time where I was like bored or just like, oh, can we get over this?
No, I wanted to know the next episode. It was very Game of Thrones-ish too. It's just like I have to see the next episode. Like you can't just stop. Like I even would get mad at night, like when I'm watching it, and then I'd be dozing off. I'm like, no, I can't.
Yeah, right.
I can't.
Yeah, I did that a couple times too.
Yeah. So, but no, it's a fantastic anime, man. And just like I said, the story, like Lena and her trials through this whole thing, and going through, and her she already had emotional attachment to her previous teams, and even her previous teams thought it was weird. They were just like, why do you show that you care for us when we're just we're pretty much pawns out here. That's
kind of another thing, like the group of 86 that the number one guys, they don't like the handlers at all.
No, they want to run their own thing. They've been there long enough. That's what it is. They've been there long enough. They know battles.
Yep, they keep calling them pigs and drawing like crazy pictures about them and stuff, and over time Lena gets like closer to them, and they start opening up a little bit more, and like I wouldn't say they've like become best friends or anything, but they're like on the same team at some point.
And even like you notice even through episodes, like not everything was always smooth or great. They would get into arguments. The part where Lena never really asked for what their names were, and that bothered them because they were starting to get close to Lena, and then I forgot the character's name, but he was just like, dude, you never even asked our names. Like, you say you care for us, but like, what is our name?
Yeah, it was the young kid.
Yeah, the young kid, and she was just like that emotionally hit her. She's like, oh my god, like I'm bad because I tell these guys I care, but the one thing I never did that everybody should do is get to know who they are by their name, not their code names. And like I said, nothing was smooth. It was always like, it was almost like a married couple. Like they were together. They basically were put together. They share this bond, but at times things weren't smooth. You would get into arguments. You would disagree with each other, and it's what it was. But anytime that happened, it only made like Lena's relationship with the 86 more, like it just made it stronger, and it made even Undertaker respect her more too, like him being able to talk to her every day and give updates. And then when they found out how much she cared with the fireworks stuff and everything, it was good.
I think that's one of the more unique things about this anime. I mean, I've watched plenty of war and mech anime and stuff, but nothing to where there's like a direct relationship between like the handlers and the squadron. I mean, you always have like a commander or somebody in charge or something, but she's like kind of always in their ear on the battlefield and directing them and doing everything she can to, you know, get them through whatever they're going through at the time.
Right. And I'm just, like, there's so much I want to talk about, so I don't want to be all over the place. But like when we talked about earlier, like how emotionally attached you get to these characters, one of the hardest episodes for me to watch was their robot that travels with them, their robot companion, Fido or Fido. When the one episode, all it was him going through the memories, and you watch like Fido go through everybody, watching Shin grow, watching the team get together, watching team members die, and watching everything up to the point that you get to that part in the anime. But you see, like, you literally have a whole flash. Basically, it's like it's Fido's life flashing before his eyes, even though he's a robot, he's an AI, but he's been there since the beginning.
Yeah, he's been there through everything.
That was one of the like craziest emotionally watched episodes I watched, because you would see him, he would show, like when you were going through his memories, it showed him seeing the happy points, the sad points, seeing these characters build their relationships, like you know, a couple characters getting attached to each other, like almost like falling in love, and then watching the other die on the field. Like Beto got all that on camera, all of it in this memory, and when it was that life was flashing before his eyes, and you had to go through every one of those moments since the beginning, and it kept like dates. You can see the date change to when it became that time now. I was like, man, that like. I'm sad. I was like, oh my god. And then Fido, he caught on fire, like he exploded or whatever. But they were able to like patch it up and drive him or whatever. But that was like, man, that sucks. Like, because that's Shin's like best friend. That was their joke. They're always like, this is your like,
but it
childhood
is his best friend.
It is, because he was there since the beginning. Remember, he found him on the battlefield, I believe. And Fido was broken, like, but not dead. And he's like, you lost a lot of companions too. And that's what built their relationship. So, one
of my favorite parts is how, you know, like you're talking about, there's a lot of loss, like a lot of people die and stuff, but the main character Shin kind of carries everybody with him.
Yes.
So like if they lose a comrade on the battlefield or something, he carves out a piece of their mech and writes their name on it and carries it with him to eventually like give them a resting place.
Yep.
And I thought that was cool. And there's plenty of times where like you see Shin having like these internal dialogues with the people that were left behind and stuff, and they're kind of pushing him on and trying to just, you know, support him through death.
Right. And then like talking about Shin, he had that ability to also like hear, like
he did. Yeah, that's right.
He had the ability to hear the dead talking at times. And like I said earlier, the Legion, their mechs were run by the brains of fallen soldiers, like fallen, you know, Republic member, or, you know, 86 members that have died. I guess we should mention that real quick. So the Legion are supposed to die out after like 2 years. Yep.
Right.
No.
And then
before their 5 years. Before their 5 years.
5 years. Yeah. You're right. So they were supposed to die out, but they ended up adapting by making copies of people's brains.
Oh, like, the Legion
from the Juggernauts.
Right. Yep. And that's why. Yeah. But Shin's near. I don't want to say near-death experience. He had an experience that helps him be able to hear these brains or whatever of the Legion. So that's why he was able to pinpoint and understand when they were attacking. He could hear them talking and hear them game planning. So that's why he was so good at like strategy. Like even Lena was like, oh, like, how do you know where they are? And he eventually told her, he's like, I can hear them. I hear them talking.
Yeah.
And
he did kind of keep it a secret at first because,
Yeah.
you know, they don't want to get close to the handlers and give away their secrets that keep them alive.
Well,
because they would all be squatted up and ready before she even let them know there was an attack coming.
Yeah, and they were so used to losing handlers so quickly. Like, even in the beginning, you saw the wall of handlers and you saw her pig drawing one. Like they were so used to not getting attached to these handlers because they're like, we're going to either lose them or they're going to quit. So they did their best not to get attached to their handler. So, but no, I mean, eventually they did. Like I said, Undertaker, like Shin grew like more. He gained more respect for Lena with what she was doing. Like when he found out she genuinely cared, was doing her best, like she was like breaking even rules, because even when she found out that they were supposed to just die off, she was like, fuck that. She's like,
and that's kind of the thing. Like the whole time it's suggested to you that Shin is like this hard ass that, you know, chases these handlers off or like don't take shit from them. And like from the get-go, it really doesn't seem like he's like that with Lena. Like, I mean, he doesn't like trust her or nothing off the bat, but he's like respectful and it's like, okay, we'll follow your orders and blah blah blah. But it doesn't seem like it takes long for him to like open up to her.
No, not at all.
And then she calls the whole squad every single night and just sits and like chats with them and just, you know, gets to know them better.
Yeah, it wasn't always about work. It was always just like, yeah, talking and then like, yeah, like getting to know them.
Yeah, and that, man, there was just so many. One of the more emotional moments that kind of got me was there's a character named Daya. He's kind of like this just like fun, goofy, shy kind of guy. And he likes this girl, I think her name's Anju or something like that. The purple hair girl.
The girl that pretty much, she also was basically what Lena was. She said she was. Remember? That was her history. Yeah, I think I know who you're talking about.
Well, he likes her and stuff, and you know, they're good together and everything. They're not like dating or nothing, but he just ends up like getting real messed up on the battlefield, and Shin has to essentially euthanize him. And it like really, she tries to go on after that and just like do her normal duties around the base and stuff, and like she's just trying to push through it, and all the other people are like, you're not okay.
And just to see him go like that, and it's just like, yeah, she it messed her up, and it like it doesn't even like stop. It continues to like mess with her throughout even the rest of the series. And like she wasn't the only one that like got emotional, like when I forgot the other girl's name that always had her hair up in a ponytail. But when she died,
what kind of
she
hair
didn't
did she
want to
have?
die or whatever. If I oh dude,
I know who you're
It's
talking
been a while,
about.
but
The girl
she
with
was
the
one of
black
the
hair.
because she was the one that said. Yeah, she was like, what would, she black hair, and what did she say? Before she died, she's like, I'm not ready to go, or I'm not ready to die yet, or something like that. And then that was replaying in their heads because her brain, I believe, was taken.
It was, yeah.
So when they went out to that next battle, they were hearing her, Shim was definitely hearing it, and then they were all hearing it in their comms, and that emotionally hit the team hard as well, because that was at the same time where they felt like someone was hearing Lena too. Remember, they say, Lena, we need you to drop comms, because she was hearing the fuzziness, and they were like, that's probably them like intercepting stuff. So, but yeah, I remember them all going like, what the hell?
Well, and it kind of,
and that's when they also explained,
end up hearing some of it, and that's part of what got rid of the previous handlers, because they couldn't handle it. They couldn't deal with it, because Lena dealt with like weird visions and like hearing these people just talk to her and stuff, and it was really weird. One of my favorite like Lena come to moments in this whole thing was when she ordered that mortar strike. Oh my god, dude! I know. I was so like fuck yeah.
Oh, I was pumped, dude. Yeah, they were just like came out of nowhere, and she did the support for them, and it was they're like, "How'd you get this approved?" She's like, "Oh,
she's like, I don't care.
She's like,
I don't care at
fuck
all.
it.
You guys aren't dying today."
Yeah, it was just like, dude, I felt so pumped. I'm like, fuck yeah, drop those bombs, baby.
Yeah, because
Do
they
So-
literally gave them a suicide mission. Like there was no way that they could complete it, and she was like, "No, we're not doing this." And they were committed to doing the mission because, I mean, they're kind of always
They
ready
had
to
to.
die. Like they're just like, that's what we do.
Yep.
Yeah, I would say
So-
the first season deals a lot with like, Lena's building this relationship with the 86 and Shin's relationship with his brother and Lena, and then how, he's basically on a mission to more or less avenge his brother, I would say. Towards the end of the season, they actually complete that crazy suicide mission.
Yeah.
The 86 kind of just, go off into the sunset. Like they're just like, okay, we're done, and they go and want to do their own thing.
That was emotionally hard too, because even Lena wasn't ready for it, because they even told her, they're like, hey, we survived, but we got to go.
And then
we have to push forward.
She's
now.
running like closer to them to not lose comms with them, and she's like, really upset and trying to run, and they're like, you're not going to get communication from us anymore. You won't hear from us anymore.
Literally seeing the light in the back of her little communication device like blink out, I was like, damn. And then and it kind of teased, because you weren't sure if they were going to die or not. Remember, they were going off into the unknown at that first part, so they kind of let that first part with kind of like a teaser type kind of thing, where it was just like, when Lena looks at her machine, it tells you if they were destroyed or dead, if they were deceased or they died. But for them, the remaining survivors, it was 5 of them, it all just said unable to communicate. It was like no comms. We did.
Pretty much.
So,
and that basically marks like the end of the first season, and then like you said, they're like going into unknown territory. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen with Lena either, because it's like, well, they're all gone, and she's like left behind essentially. And that's one of the things that she's like really upset about, is because she's like, you guys left without me.
Well, overall, like I said, we really enjoyed this anime, but we're going to go ahead and end the first part here. If you guys actually really liked this and you guys want to see part 2, make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, as well as we will be posting more anime content as well, just beyond the 86. So, like I said, leave a like. We'll see you guys next time.